So now let's talk about the SSM parameter store. It's a secure storage for your configuration and your secrets. And optionally, you can choose to encrypt these configurations and therefore make it secrets by using the KMS service. SSM parameter store is serverless, it's scalable, it's durable, and the SDK is very easy to use. On top of it, if you update your parameters, then you have version tracking of them. The security is provided through IAM, and you get notifications with Amazon Event Bridge in certain amount of cases. You have full integration with CloudFormation. That means that CloudFormation can leverage the parameters from Parameter Store as input parameters for your stacks. So let's take an example. We have an application, and then we have the SSM parameter store. So we can store plain text configuration. In this way, then the IAM permissions of your applications are going to be checked. For example, your EC2 instance role, or you can have encrypted configuration. In that case, the SSM parameter store is going to encrypt it with KMS. And so the KMS service is going to be used for encryption and decryption. And of course, you need to make sure that your application do have access to the underlying KMS key to perform that encryption and that decryption. So you can store parameters in the parameter store with a hierarchy. So for example, you can define my department as a path, and underneath the my app, and then the dev, and then we have the devdb URL, and then the db password within that folder. So that means that your parameters goes all the way down in the hierarchy. We can go one level up and store a parameter for the prod db URL as well as a prod db password, and go up to another app or another department. That really allows you to organize your parameters the way you want in a structured fashion. And then this is going to simplify your IAM policies to allow applications to have access to an entire department or to an entire app or just to an app department environment specific path. You also have the opportunity to access secrets of Secrets Manager through the parameter store by using this reference right here. So it's a little trick that not many people know. And there are something called public parameters that are issued by AWS that you can use. For example, if you want to find the latest AMI for the Amazon Linux 2 in your specific region, this is something that's available within the parameter store as an API call. So if we take an application, for example, our dev lambda function is going to have an IAM role that allows it to access the DB URL and DB password within the dev of my app. And then if you have a prod lambda function, thanks to, again, a different IAM policy and maybe some environment variables, you can access the prod DB URL and prod DB password of another path. Now, within Systems Manager, you have two kind of parameter tiers. You have the standard and the advanced tier. So the big difference is going to be around the size, so 4 kilobytes versus 8 kilobytes, and also the availability of a parameter policy. For standard one, we have none, but for advanced, we have some. The advanced type of parameters is going to be $0.05 per month, whereas the first one is going to be free. So what are these parameter policies? And this is only for advanced parameters. Well, this allows you to assign a time to live to a parameter, that means an expiration date, so that you force users to update or delete sensitive data such as passwords. And you can assign multiple policies at a time. So here is an example policy. So this is an expiration policy to delete a parameter, and you say, hey, on this timestamp, you must delete this parameter. And then through the EventBridge integration, EventBridge is going to get notifications of it. So in this example, 15 days before the parameter expires, we'll receive a notification in EventBridge, which gives us enough time to actually update it and make sure the parameter is not getting deleted because of the TTL. Or maybe sometimes you want to make sure the parameters change once in a while. So you can have a no change notification in EventBridge so that if a parameter has not been updated for 20 days, then you will be notified as well. So you can get very, creative with the parameter store, but now you get the idea behind it. So I hope you like this lecture, and I will see you in the next lecture.